Fam, what is up with the squad? It's your favorite RT with Uncle Tennessee's in the building with Political Lil. What is up, Political Lil? Be Wise Podcast. I want to make sure that I call that out. Political Lil of the Be Wise Podcast. Partnering with Cess Talk Sports to bring y'all a poly sports perspective on Black women in sports excellence. Today's topic: 7 problems. And we're gonna dive into the first 4. So we're gonna do this in two parts, ladies and gentlemen. 7 problems with South Carolina's dominance in women's college basketball. Political Lil, how are you today? Welcome. What's going on?
Oh, doing pretty good. Welcome everyone. Thanks for coming to the show.
Hey, appreciate y'all pulling up. Let's dive on in. This is an interesting conversation for us to have. This is an interesting conversation for us to have. I was looking forward to this one because we do a lot of different stuff over on Cess Talk Sports. We don't talk a lot of politics. I don't get into a lot of politics, but this part of the being able to break down these different narratives and draw attention to what it is we really seeing. These opportunities are really important to me. So looking forward to having this conversation. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Okay. Well, let me say this. The reason why I talk about sports and politics is because sports often mirror broader societal issues and reinforces or challenges racial and gender inequality. Conversations about who gets to play, coach, and lead in sports often reflect similar dynamics in the workplace, education, and politics. For Black women in sports, these conversations are critical as they navigate intersecting barriers that stem both from racial and gender biases. Sports visibility gives athletes and coaches a platform to advocate for equality and highlights disparities. The success of Black women like Don Stanley, expands this platform, making it a powerful tool for challenging stereotypes and reimagining who can succeed in sports at the highest level. We have a power structure in this country.
Yes.
And is generally led by white male, and then
Absolutely.
it filters down, and so we have a desire to become not equal, but have equity in how women's sports is played, coached, marketed. And so we have to challenge these power structures in order to break down those barriers. Unfortunately for us, politics impacts sports by determining access to funding, defining rules and regulations, and shaping opportunities for player coaches and teams through policy and regulation. It's just a part of almost everything that we encounter in life. So it has to be discussed, and then in order to be mitigated, we have to advocate for what is right, advocate for what is needed, advocate for equality in opportunity. and to be able to have a fair equity share in what it is our labor is producing as uh, women athletes, but specifically black athletes, which is kind of my advocacy target.
Absolutely. And I think before we can get to the advocacy part of it, we have to have an understanding, and that's the educational part of it, making sure that we have an understanding and are in agreement with what's taking place, and then how we attack and mitigate that. And that's what I think is the beautiful thing about the conversation that we are having here with the Be Wise podcast and Cess Talk Sports on WTF America. Let's tell the truth, and it's about getting to the truth and getting to the understanding, and then how to navigate and mitigate these arenas so that we remain successful, but we also get an understanding of how to control our narratives in these spaces. So thank you, Political Lil, for being able, for making yourself available to have these conversations and doing this in conjunction with Let's Talk Sports. I just was letting some basic definitions and their relevance to sports pass by while we were talking. I'm also gonna have those available on the community tab for you guys to refer to. We just want to make sure that everybody's working from the same from the same understanding level of understanding with the topics that we're discussing and how we're talking about them. But with that, I'm gonna turn it back over to Political Lou, and we'll continue this conversation.
So one of the top teams in the college program right now at the D1 level is, of course, Carolina. And often I ask myself, what is what is the big deal with their dominance? Why is it such a problem that they dominate the sport when we've had many other programs that have been dominant powers in the sport, but they have not received the type of backlash, the constant criticism, the constant questioning of their coaches' integrity, the lack of media coverage. So, what is it? What is the problem with her being able to build a program that is productive and championship driven? And why is it such a threat? It's kind of what we're
Hmm.
kind of discussing here. Um, Is it that black teams in sports challenge the traditional white male power structure that has been historically defined by the industry? Is it that black success in these spaces disrupts the norms of who holds power and who is seen as legitimate in a high stakes athletic environment? Um, Discussing this exposes the discomfort in the industry with black dominated excellence overall, and it's certainly something that we need to educate the fan base on because the way these power structures operate, they operate to control and create narratives that you then find yourself believing. And because we're not a overall society of critical thinkers, we don't think to go cross reference something. As soon as we hear something on TV, on the YouTube, on the X, or Twitter, whatever it's called, Facebook, we just instantly take that at face value, do no type of investigation. Of course, we can't, of course, go to the main source, but we can't cross reference things. We can't wait until more information comes out. And this is something we don't do. But I
Hmm.
noticed that each year that Don Stanley teams dominate, then we seem to have this overall belief that whatever is being said is what the truth is.
Hmm. And I came up in a time where you were supposed to cross reference. We were taught to cross reference. You couldn't come and tell somebody anything without. I used to get so tired of having to have three references for my school assignments. I had three books, or a book in a newspaper, or a book in a video, in a clipping, or an interview. You had to cross reference. You had to fact check, and I understand that this is new media, but you still want to fact check because it sends people into a frenzy. And once stuff starts going, it's hard to dial it back. These are people's narratives. These are people's brands. These are people's businesses. These are people's checks. You know what I mean? That we're affected. So it's important to cross reference for sure.
And then in this country, you have to always wonder why who succeeds is so controlled. We know that media is an apparatus that makes stars, and they create narratives. People just buy, right into it. So why is it such a problem when you have a black woman able to go and take a dying program, because the program was dying when she got there, and
Yeah,
turn it into a powerhouse, and then have her constantly uh, bombarded with negativity. And this is I noticed the last time she won a championship, they were barroom brawlers. You know, this time she went in the championship, and everybody's questioning her integrity over the incident, involving one of her players that she allowed to go through the court system the way things normally go through the court system. And
exactly.
everybody is trying to accuse her of pulling strings and this, that, and the other. We usually don't, just like we don't have bootstraps, we generally don't have strings to pull. you know. So this young lady has received a lot of negativity from a
Hmm.
mistake she made, maybe a little too over emotional, and a situation occurred that she tried to resolve maybe on her own in the moment, and
Right,
then
right.
it became
Young
something
people do
that,
that.
and people don't, America act like they can never forgive you for any mistake you make, as a black person, but they don't seem to have any problem excusing themselves.
What
So
they say, you should have they treat us like you still mad about slavery. You ain't got over that yet. Like, forgive us, move on. Like, no, that happened.
yeah,
Like racism was real. Like all of these things happen. So, um, yeah, the level of accountability is very it's out of whack. Uh, as far as the power structures go.
and then
Oh,
another thing, as a black female in the sport, you're dealing with not only racial bias but also gender bias. Just
absolutely.
being a female, I'm even noticing that we haven't had many coach replacements in the WNBA, but the few we have had, sitting around, women being replaced by males. You know,
Hmm.
that probably comes down to males having ownership. This is a tool that ownership is a problem, because you own, you control, and so you getting that dynamic spilling over into women's sports, and what it does is it cut down on opportunities for women to show their skills, and they being held to a standard that's different from males in terms of what's considered successful.
Oh,
And this is
absolutely.
this is this is a problem in college sport, as you don't have a plethora of black females head coaching D1 schools, and so protecting Dawn and making sure she's allowed to excel and pour into these other coaches is very important. And you can kind of speak on that. Um,
Well, yeah, yeah. I think So I love the way that Dawn pours in, but I also, I think we get, and I love Big Drip. Y'all know the Big Drip is my coach, but I think we sometimes forget about the ones before, and we don't celebrate the C. Vivian Stringers, the Carolyn Pecks. Carolyn Peck is the one. Like, she started this thing. She was the first one that we saw cut a net down, and it's a shame that in 2024 we still are talking about the number of black coaches, the number of black owners, the number, like, we finally just really gotten to a point where, and y'all correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, where we not going, ooh, it's a black quarterback or two black quarterbacks playing against each other. We just got to a point where we're not talking about that, right? Because they've been able to go and grow and be accepted in the NFL. And those are the same things that we want to be able to see happen in these other sports, especially in women's basketball, because we've been such a big part of what's going on here. But Carolyn Peck, and y'all probably know, have heard the story, and those of y'all who are just meeting Big Drip, like that's a big part of who she is and her pay it forward. Carolyn Peck, as Dawn tells the story, saw something in Dawn that said, like, your time is coming. You're next up. I see you. Keep striving, keep fighting. You doing the right thing. And she gave her a piece of her net, of her championship net, and said, hold on to this. And then when you get yours, give me mine back. Like, give me mine back. I want my whole net. But hold on to this one until you get yours. And she said that motivated her. And we sometimes don't acknowledge or don't talk about or don't celebrate enough how much it means to have another Black woman pour into you. Like, we get help all over, but to have another Black woman pour into you, especially when she's been to where you're trying to go, it gives you a different type of fight. It gives you a different type of push. And that's what I think Carolyn Peck did for Dawn. And that, like she said, being every time she went to go swipe her card or spend some money, she saw this piece of this net. And so when she got her first net, she cut that up. And so to watch her on the tape, cutting this net up, and, because they did a great job of filming her cutting the net up and picking the coaches that she was going to send it to. And she sent it to Black coaches that I didn't even know existed. There was more Black coaches out there in programs that I didn't even know about. But I see you. I was you. You can be me. Here's a piece of me. Have a part of this. Keep growing your program, right? To see that take place, and then now you see she's deliberate. She's so intentional with how she makes her schedule, with how she picks the coaches that go to be a part of things. She went to Paris. She cut the deal with Ally. Then no matter what happens now, whether Dawn ever gets to take a team back to South Carolina, there will be at least one Black coach that plays in this tournament every time that it takes place, so that we have the recognition on an international stage to show our success, to show our dominance, and to show that it's okay to be able to have those things. So you see her go back and have the coach. She played it. The coach from Memphis said she spent all summer trying to learn about Dawn and studying Dawn. She's gonna play Coppin State. She made sure that she goes back to HBCU. She played Clayton State. There's Coach Leggett. There's Joni Brown. Like, there's all of these coaches that have these different connections with her. And I think that's just remarkable. I don't know how she has this remarkable way of, it seems like, coming across to, like, no matter what she has going on, when you're in front of her, you're the most important thing that's going on. And she's pouring back into you and trying to be the dream merchant to what you're trying to be. And that's so important into what she is. And to me, it speaks to how she's able to find her success and have dominance, because she just keeps giving of herself. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm learning about success is, like, the more you give, the more you get back. And she is a walking walking definement of that. I see the chat going crazy. I'm gonna jump in the chat real quick before we move on and just see kind of Harold Williams, what up though? MJ in the building, what up though? Good afternoon. Great job of presenting definitions at the start of the conversation, so we're all on the same page. Absolutely. Miss D, what's up? James of Flatbush, what's good? What's good? The Pied Piper effect. What's good? What's good? Everything. Hey, Jeffrey, what's good? Hope everything is well. Mr. CM23. The only reason South Carolina women basketball is getting criticized and all the scrutiny is because they have a Black head coach and she's dominating. Yeah. They always want to call a physical team thugs. A few years ago, coach was questioning the Gamecocks for playing too hard, calling them dirty, men, all kinds of stuff. Facts, political, Lil. Yep, that's what they said. If that was Gino, they wouldn't question it at all. The power structure is a capitalist structure. Important to acknowledge that, as Gerald Horn and others have discovered through scholarship, race was invented to justify capital accumulation. So, okay, we having a conversation now. Ms. D to you, what's good? A Black woman don't supposed to be dominating college women's basketball as a head coach, but why not? That's the crazy part. They dominate as the player. Why wouldn't they dominate? That's crazy to me. Saw that back in the 2000s when Rutgers was facing the same ridicule with the mostly black roster and see Vivian Stringer trying to play disruptor in the UConn Tennessee duopoly at the time. Yeah, that was the was that the nappy headed the nappy headed Rose comment? James and Flatbush, against the Rutgers team. Just biased off of the basic honest convos I've had with my lighter skinned brothers and sisters, I was told that part of the hiring process is hiring people they feel comfortable being around. Okay. Or associated with. I get that. So subconsciously you saying this has been one of the biggest issues the hiring powers have had and may not even understand why they do the hiring they hire based off of their subconscious bias. Which is why you try to get to unconscious bias in HR, which is why you move into the resumes with no names and no picture. What is your skill set?
No address.
Then no address. And what is your skill set? And then after I pick your skill set, then I'll meet you. But when you sitting in your resume with your headshot and your address on there and where you went to school and how old you are, you already allow people to unconsciously go into these biases. Too old, too black, too short, too fat, too gay, too straight. All of those things that factored into looking at what your skill set is. No name, no picture, no face. What's your skills? I can work with that. Now, who are you? Now let me meet you. It should be like that, and it's easy to make it like that. We just don't want to. They're comfortable around folks who will perpetuate the party line and turn a profit. The class angle is important here. Okay, classes. It also goes to the perception of gameplay. For example, just the South Carolina UConn comparison in gameplay, as people describe UConn's play as tough and gritty. SC's play is described as thuggish. Same style of play though that we got going on.
Well, let me mention this.
That was enough of the comment.
As far as historical norms in women's college basketball. Historically, women's college basketball was dominated by predominantly white programs with white head coaches. For decades, teams like Tennessee, UConn, and Stanford set the standard, and there was limited representation of predominantly black teams or programs with black leadership. The rise of a team like South Carolina with a largely black roster and a black woman at the head, it disrupts these established norms. Dawn Stanley's success challenges long-standing power dynamics in college basketball as her team's rise signifies a shift away from traditional powerhouses that were more representative of mainstream white America. Dawn Stanley, Gamecocks dominating women's basketball in recent years has sparked some discomfort, and it reveals a deeper issue about race, gender, and power dynamics in the sport. While Gino Aragano, UConn Huskies dominated women's basketball for decades and were widely celebrated, Stanley's success has been met with a different set of reactions rooted in historical and structural bias. And so we have to understand, we have a long-standing history. Your mind is being indoctrinated into the belief that only one group can produce anything of real value. And once a team dispels that issue, then here comes the media charging in to try to rewrite the narrative. And it's just that you have so much media now. It's hard for you to just, used to be just, before they had social media, almost everything was tightly controlled. And our jobs and our responsibility is to continue to educate the fan base that these things exist, they're here, but they have to be countered. You have to continue to support these teams through all of the adversity that they're going to encounter and problems that are going to be created by the media, by the establishment, by the governing bodies like the NCAA, not fully supporting these teams or, putting them out. Cess and I were talking about the last two champions, LSU and the Gamecocks, and how they were treated when they were reigning champions. She noted that LSU was the most disrespected, and I'm not seeing a lot of respect to the current reigning champion.
No.
talk about when LSU was reigning champion. Who did you hear about? You certainly didn't hear about them.
Well, not, I mean, LSU's coming in as like the reigning champs. I don't think that we saw any coverage of Angel coming in. And I get it. Listen, I get it. I understand that there is a lot of stuff going on in the season. Caitlin Clark was coming in hot. She had records that she was going to break. That's fine. When Steph was coming in hot with his 3-point record he was going to break, they still were talking about the people who were potentially going to be NBA champs or the reigning champs. They talked about all of that. Here, coming in, they only talked about Caitlin. I don't know if LSU was on a major network other than the times that they played against us and in the Natty. I think they were pretty much only on the SEC network. You didn't see a campaign about a repeat. You didn't even hear them really calling them the reigning champions. It wasn't a repeat tour. It wasn't a celebration. You didn't see a documentary of what they went through for the season. I almost want to say I seen a documentary of what Iowa went through for the season. They only got to the Final Four, right? Like, and I know people will be like, well, you just feel like that because they beat you, and they did. They beat us. Iowa beat us that year and went on and met LSU and took an L. But when they won that, they weren't celebrated. They didn't call Angel Reese's name. You didn't see Flau'jae all over the place. Flau'jae is not even respected right now as a national champion in the SEC. Not even right now. She wasn't even talking about it as a potential national player of the year. And I don't see how you don't have that conversation about that kid.
Yeah, especially
she's not celebrated at all.
You know, I mean, there were no specialty stories like what's my man Stephen A.
We didn't see no commercials.
Big documentary on Caitlin Clark. He never even talked. He talked about Angel Reese. He went on his podcast and told her she was smelling herself, but he never sat down and talked to that young lady, to find out what was really going on with her and letting her speak for herself. I thought that was very disingenuous of him.
I think that happens all the time with us.
Him after that,
I think that happens with us all the time. They always want to talk at us or talk about us, and they never sit down and talk to us. And I don't know, man, maybe they'll say that they reached out to Angel and she didn't want to talk or she didn't have anything to say. I doubt that. Every time there's a microphone in front of her, she is the best person to tell her or to tell her narrative. So I look forward to hearing that. But as a national champion, it was like, goodness gracious. I don't even know, they say former president or former champion. They don't, or none of that. And Flau'jae was a champion as a freshman. As a freshman, she played a role in winning a national title. So to me, they need a little bit more respect. They need a little bit more respect on these young people's names. And the other thing is that, like, it's not even that on the flip side of this, they're bad people. Like when you go back and you look at like these are young people who are building brands and setting up blueprints for success that other people can follow. So I don't get that part. And maybe that is the challenge or the threat to the power structure that the power structure is trying to mitigate or trying to keep quiet as long as they can. But the way that social media is taking off, I just don't know how you continue to do that. Like they're cutting the mics on. They're telling us themselves. No, it wasn't that. Yes, it was this. No, I don't like that. And we have to get ready for that. Appreciate it. Look like we got 70 in the chat right now. Run them likes up for me. Hit the like, double tap on the screen if you need to. Hit the 3 dots and hit the like if you're watching on TV. Scroll up to the right. Hit the like on us in this conversation today. It's just such a double standard. It's a double standard in how the success is critiqued. It's a double standard in how the success is celebrated. It's a double standard in how the success is supported and reported. And it's wild. It's wild to me. You look at Asia and everything that Asia's been able to do. And I hate to say it, but it's like the only thing that I can keep tying it all back to is South Carolina and Dawn Staley. The reason that Aaliyah Boston wasn't celebrated as a rookie of the year. What other rookie of the year wasn't celebrated? Like when you just look at all of them, rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, Dawn Staley. I think I don't know another coach. Y'all let me know that was a coach of a WNBA Rookie of the Year and WNBA Finals
Finally.
MVP and champion at the same time. Like at the same time. I don't know if Gino did that. If he did, remind me. But at the same time, the success that comes out of there is so critical to the success that we see in the WNBA now, and impactful to the growth of the league. Like Caitlin came in there and made a great impact. Angel came in there and made a great impact. Asia's made a tremendous impact as well. With her what Asia got 7 years in the league now. Aaliyah came in and made an impact.
Her first year.
Tiff Hayes came in and made a big impact. Alicia Gray, everything that she just did over the WNBA All-Star weekend.
Game. Right.
Like tearing this stuff up, like the impact and the fingerprints that Dawn has on women's basketball right now, from I don't care, from middle school up through the professional level, is crazy work right now. And it has to be respected and protected. Like, this is the only, I tell you all the time, only black coach, not black female coach, not black male coach, only black coach that has won more than one national championship in the history of national championships. As far as basketball goes.
Predominantly black roster to boot.
At the PWI. That's the other thing that people talk about Dawn like she just at some HBCU. She's not. Where she's doing this at, she's going to work. She's going to work at a PWI every day. And she's navigating that as a black woman dominating in a white male dominant industry on a daily basis. And I don't know if people understand what that means or the impact that has. And I think her players get an opportunity to see what she goes through more up close and personal than anybody else. And that's why they love her like they do. Because they see the obstacles and they see the hurdles and they see the stuff that she has to go through, walk through, jump through, pray through to be able to get her team and opportunities that she wants to be able to have. So that's why I think they love her like they do. And even players that go ahead.
No, I was saying she's always in defense of her players. You know, she's always having to publicly defend them, protect them, you know, and that can be nerve-breaking too, to have to constantly do that, especially when it comes to their style of play. You know, they don't like to call her team a finesse team, but they actually are a finesse team. You know, they won't say
absolutely a finesse team.
Any physicality is too rough, it's too aggressive, it's too this, it's too that. That Barstool comment, you know, that really bugged me. You know, when I heard that, you know, because these young ladies are not being credited for the hard work they put in the off season, the training that they have to do in the off season in order to be in shape, just the individual training they have to do to develop their skills. Those things ought to be, and the mental knowledge, and not only the knowledge but the toughness. You know, that it takes. You know, winning championships is not no walk in the park. You know, you subject to a cutthroat every single game. Anything could go wrong. You know,
and he just set up at the press conference and said, "What? This shit is hard.
Yeah,
this is hard to get a championship, to repeat. It's not easy. It is a mental grind every day to try to three-peat. I'm gonna try to go do it 3 times because I gotta imagine that on that first championship, right? The odds are stacked against you. It's hard enough, but then you decide that you wanted to come back and do it again. Oh, the odds doubled up on you. Oh, you thought you could do it again? Let me show you. Oh, here you go, back again. I'm tripling up on you. So every time you coming back, like, you got to come back bigger, faster, stronger, smarter, more prepared to be able to find that success.
And then to do it undefeated.
Undefeated, leave no doubt.
10 programs have done that before. You know, and undefeated season.
The thing I think, and another thing that I think is scary about Dawn is that, okay, and I know that people love Kim Mulkey and they'll say Kim got 4 of them, Cess, and she does, but she got those spaced out over time. Dawn Staley looked like she got to a point where she was working on her recipe, and then she got it down, and now she just producing them. They're coming too quick now. You ain't waiting fast enough to get them. We don't mind you getting them, but you ain't gonna just keep getting them every other year. Who you think you is? Greg Popovich or something around here? You're not just gonna get one every other year. That's how they act. It was okay for Greg Popovich to go get one every other year.
Yeah.
They didn't care. They got to a point where they was like, oh, it's an odd year. Tim Duncan will get the championship this year. If you watch the NBA, come on, have a conversation with me. Because they was calling odd years San Antonio Spurs championship years when Popovich and Duncan and them was doing it. Now it's like Dawn had figured out the recipe, and she's like, "Oh, I might could go get one of these every year." Oh, that's scary. Yeah. She thinks she's gonna get one every year. Greppy got 11, and he ain't had one in how many years? I don't think Greppy had a chance to go get one. I'm sorry, Greppy. Gino. Gino over in Connecticut.
2017 was the last time.
Yeah, about 16. He ain't sniffed the championship in a while. And Dawn keep going back to back, and then you just keep stacking up these SEC championships to the point where the SEC won't even give you no respect. It is ring night. It is ring night, banner night in South Carolina tonight. And do you think it's on TV? No.
You know what? I just heard about it from you.
It ain't even on the SEC network. The SEC network, and hey, listen, Arkansas and Auburn, whoever y'all are, I can appreciate it. Talia Scott was down at Auburn. I don't even know if it's women's basketball that's coming on. But this is the SEC network. The undefeated national champion came out of the SEC conference, and you're not covering the ring night? You're not putting the banner on, you're not putting the banner going up on TV? You're not even covering the game? Wow. I gotta go see it on ESPN Plus. Come on, America, talk to me. I'm here for the conversation. What the fuck, America? Let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. The hate is real. Like y'all like Cess, you making it up. Cess, you overthinking it. This is the SEC network. My Laser Fool Wiley went to the tournament last year as a player under Dawn Staley on a team that was ranked number 6 with no starters coming back. Everybody wrote them off. She came into the SEC tournament, blew everybody away, left as the most outstanding player in the tournament. She comes back this year, and y'all don't even think that she got a chance of being the SEC player of the year? Y'all didn't even put her name up there? How dare you? That's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. And it goes beyond. It goes beyond just we don't like Dawn. Y'all hurting their brand. NIL money out here for them. It's commercials out here for them. They out here working their ass off. Day after day, game after game. Everybody making their money but them. And I like Juju. And I like Hannah. But they not undefeated national champions. They not that.
Yeah.
They deserve their deals. But so do these ladies.
Yep, and Paige hasn't won the championship. Look at the NIL deal she get.
Exactly. Raven came back on a revenge tour, stood up in front of the world and said, hey, at the beginning of the season, are y'all listening? I'm going on a revenge tour. My team is coming with me. And they went and did it. She didn't write it in no envelope. She didn't show up after they went undefeated and was like, hey, it was a revenge tour. No, she showed up at the beginning and called it out loud. So anybody who wanted the smoke, bring it, because she called for it. And she went through all 38 of them. And for that last one, she took down that one that y'all thought she couldn't. And y'all talking about she can't go to the WNBA? Y'all talking about she's not a top point guard in this league? Stop playing with me. Let's have a conversation for real, y'all. Who want to talk? Let's go. Because the SEC network is disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Let's go.
Yeah, that's
I'm so disappointed in how we being handled as the champs.
And check this out. We know that if Iowa had won, even though Caitlin went to the WNBA, it'd be on
ABC tonight. Yeah. It'd be on ABC. They would have Caitlin back because she ain't doing nothing else right now but playing golf. They would have Caitlin probably in the headset calling the game. Y'all should have invited Asia and Aaliyah down there to celebrate this banner going up. Y'all should be talking to them, calling the game, having fun with them. Y'all don't bring them back and talk. But Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi was up talking at the South Carolina game last year. Why wasn't that Asia and Sid or Asia and Aaliyah or Asia and whoever she wanted it to be up there with her? Talk to me for real, y'all.
Wow.
This ain't no HBCU we talking about. This is PWI she at.
Mm-hmm. And in the South, the SEC
and in the South,
the toughest conference.
Toughest one you can come through. Talk to me for real.
Yeah, just the what it is. They try to downplay and diminish your accomplishments to delegitimize what it is you do. And this goes across all sectors. No
Exactly.
matter what you do, at no rate you do it, and how well you do it, they gonna always try to throw some nugget in there. Well, it's cause of this. Well, it's cause of that. You know, not because you are prepared, not because you train, not because you use your talents and gifts and skills in a way that make you superior, dominant in the moment, or this, that, and the other. It's always got to be some clown excuse. And see, if this is going on today, see, this is how you use social media. We ought to be on the SEC network, uh, Xbox, or however they promote themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and throwing all kind of why is this going on at them? Why isn't this being televised? This is where you use your platform. This is where you spread the word that these champions are being honored tonight, but they're not being honored publicly. They're being honored privately. However they won publicly.
Mm-hmm.
So however they win, that's how they ought to be presented.
Exactly.
There should be already a documentary on their rise.
We didn't even see. We didn't even see the documentary on them. We didn't see the documentary on it. And I appreciate the money game one. And I appreciate Caitlin and what she talked about. Where's the Asia documentary?
Yeah.
Where's the Dawn documentary? Asia. Where's the Asia documentary? I'm talking about Asia. She got a statue. Two-time national champion, two-time WNBA champion, best player in the world, New York Times bestseller. Where's the Asia documentary at?
MVP.
Gamecocks undefeated.
3 of the last 5 years.
Gamecocks undefeated. Where's the documentary?
Mm-hmm.
That's money that go back in them kids' pocket. It should be a special 2023, 2024 champions jersey or something that came out for them to make some money.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody making money off of them.
Yeah.
They out here working the hardest. They sacrificing. I'm not gonna do. I love Paige Beckers. She ain't no national champion.
Mm-mm.
She get national champion type. She get national champion type NIL deals. And y'all don't tell me that it's because Dawn's not doing that for her players. Because the thing is, if you the winner, you supposed to get the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan had to go win, and he was what, on the Wheaties box and at McDonald's and doing the Gatorade and all when he became the champion.
Mm-hmm.
They the champion. What they done gave him? Y'all ain't even had a commercial with all of them in it one time, but nothing. That's crazy to me. That's nasty work.
And let's talk about this false claim that these athletes are not marketable. These particular
not marketable. Oh my God, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Black athletes are not marketable.
I can't tell from their TikTok.
Hey, look, Angel Reese out here burning it up. Don't tell me they're not marketable.
I think somebody was in the store getting some Angel Reese Puff cereal or something. Reese's Puffs.
Boosie.
Come on now.
Boosie was shopping. He was shopped. But don't tell me these athletes at South Carolina that just won this championship, you can't create narratives to market them. You can't create buzz for them so that these corporations will come and support them individually, but also collectively. I mean, every time you see a commercial advertising a set of games that's coming on, they should be leading out there out front. Come see the repeat tour of our national undefeated champion. Clips of them going on. I mean, I can't imagine the bombardment we would have gotten if somebody else had won that championship. They already knocking you over just with the star player, but that school and that state, it's horrifying, but it's being controlled by politics, and this is what I'm telling you all. Politics is controlling what we are seeing. They control how things are governed, who is celebrated, who is allowed to be deemed successful. All that's controlled by politics, and that's why it is important that we, discuss, learn, educate ourselves, and then continue to advocate for things to change because they need to.
You know what's crazy? Y'all remind me in the chat. I believe Dawn Staley is the only sitting active coach right now with a standard of excellence trophy named after her. There's a Dawn Staley trophy that goes out every year. I don't think G don't got one. Do he? Let me know. Who got the Oriama trophy last year? Do they have one? Is there even a Pat Summit trophy out there? Talk to me, y'all. Is there a Pat Summit trophy out there? Is there a Cheryl Reeve trophy out there? Talk to me. Is it a Kim Mulkey trophy out there? No, there's a Dawn Staley trophy out there. Why? Because she's been the standard of excellence. She's what you're grading guards on right now. But she don't get no respect. Stop playing with me. And it's not on purpose. It's not calculated. It's 83 in the chat. Run them likes up for me. Come on, let's have a conversation, y'all. She is a standard of excellence in the industry. Ain't no documentary about her. Ain't no movie about her. Ain't no celebration of her. She's not marketable.
No, there's a
for her to be in a GOAT commercial. She has to be in a commercial with Coach K for what? She a GOAT by herself. God damn it! Stop playing with her. She a GOAT by herself. She don't need nobody to stand by her to say that she no GOAT. You don't got to be no other GOAT in the room. She the GOAT in the room. Y'all got her confused. Y'all got her confused. Y'all got her confused, man, for real. Same with the Ole Miss and Coach Yo. That community won't even show up to games. She had that lady. You talking about Coach Yo? That was my real introduction to Coach Yo. Her being at that press conference saying, "We here, come to the games." That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
You got it. I mean, they showed up for the LSU game and then it immediately fell off. You know,
it was packed. It was packed for the LSU game.
She had a very good program, and she had a winning team. Her team does very well in the tournament. You know, she's always just a player or two away from really making a deep run. You know, she has an identity for being
Coach Yo. Coach Yo is at Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
Y'all know what Coach Yo is? Coach Yo is a coach of a WNBA champion as a rookie. Talk to me about it now. Talk to me about it. I don't care whether Marquisha Davis stayed on the floor or not. She was able to stick with the team. Do you know what that experience is? She's a coach of a WNBA champion as a rookie.
And the first one to win the championship in the 2024 class.
First one.
First one. The top 10, the top 10 draft selection.
So whatever you think about her, it's something working. That young lady was able to take her skill set and the development that she got under Coach Yo and go stick in the WNBA on the national on the championship team.
Right, stayed on the roster.
And stayed on the roster and got playing time. Are they gonna talk about it? Nope. Ain't nobody even talking about now. If Caitlin had been the first rookie to get a champion out of class of 2024, she'd be everywhere.
And guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna put that narrative. They're gonna put that narrative out there like that anyway.
But 2 rookies got rings, and they'll play them like they may not even be on the team next season with the experience that they were able to get.
This is the excuse they're gonna come with.
What's the young lady's name from Colorado? Sherrod.
She was a starter, and
everybody got to show. The one thing that I love about Coach Staley is she'll even call out the players who don't get a chance to really play as being an integral part of what happened because they had to show up and practice with these players. They had to show up and help them sharpen their skills to go get it. Right. All of that goes into it. The highlighters, the people that sweep the floor, the people that cut the lights on. All of that plays a part into how successful they're able to be. You don't get to 40 games straight with no losses without a whole bunch of support coming from everywhere. But how are you 40-0? Ain't lost game, 40-0. We finna break. We what are we? 5 games? Five games away from breaking the record? 4 games away from breaking the record now? Are they talking about the record? Hell no.
They was talking about that scoring record.
Ad nauseum. Till you were sick of it. It was like, score already, girl. Goodness. We are sick of it. Actually broke the record yet. But we ain't even got a commercial with all the champions together. How not? NCAA, where y'all at? Season started. Where's the B-roll? Where's the B-roll starting every NCAA game with the champs? We would just be seeing confetti falling on Caitlin as she won it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the role, and that's the role that media plays in shaping that perception.
Exactly.
That okay, yeah, you're the winner, but it's not legit. It's like it's a plot to make their championship less than any other championship ever won.
Y'all mark my words. They'll tell y'all that Ashlyn Watkins got arrested more times this season than they will tell you that South Carolina is the defending champs.
Yep, exactly. And anytime it's any kind of rough play, they'll be begging for the refs to make the call. You know, any little bit of physicality that she produces, it'll go back.
They're gonna be like, oh, here, look at here. They're gonna tell you that and they're not gonna tell you that it was dismissed. They're not gonna tell you none of that. They're gonna tell you more times that Ashlyn got arrested than we're the defending champs.
Mm-hmm.
And no, they still haven't said anything about old girl whose name I really try not to say on my channel from TCU. KA. They won't even mention it. All they talked about when I saw her was how good the 1-2 punch was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
But watch how many times they try to run it about Ashlyn. Watch it. What y'all? You ain't gotta come back and tell me I was right. But y'all watch.
But see, one thing we got to know is this: South Carolina's success underscores the importance of diverse leadership in sport. It challenges institutions to prioritize inclusivity, while also highlights ongoing disparities in funding and support, pushing for a broader equity across college sport. One thing we definitely have to do is we have got to start analyzing, talking about the marketing capital and how the NCAA uses this marketing capital to, promote one thing over another. Because there was no reason, in thinking about last year, you had a dynamic class of freshmen come in. I mean, a super dynamic class of freshmen come in. Yet there was no capital spent on promoting them freshmen, even though they're your future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the tremendous amount of capital that was spent just pushing one thing was really upsetting. I was like, you had 10 freshmen coming into these big programs,
great big programs,
dominant programs. Yet there was no collective posters put out, T-shirts put out, no television commercials. Look what we got coming. Look what we got coming. None of that. And then there's this leads to disparity in how people are celebrated, but also how they award it. You look at these national awards, and you don't have a team that just produced an undefeated season on the All-American team, not on the second team.
No.
Not considered. None of them considered for player of the year. Not being talked about for awards in the SEC. It's kind of outrageous in a sense, and definitely has to be promoted and put out. I mean, the NCAA, and even that conference, they have to get I don't want to say shit together, but they really need to get that together.
Oh, you better say it, because that's what they've got. Because I'm gonna say it, if you don't, they need to get their shit together. But what's crazy is, it's almost like they would rather not get their shit together and not make the money because they don't want to share the money. If they leaving money on the table at the expense of not being able to have these young people to have an opportunity to grow and be brands like they can be.
And they have cultural impact. These things they important to the culture, to the youth that's coming behind these young ladies, to future stars. They want to see themselves marketed, and it's important. I mean, you think about I've heard a couple of the recruits that are going to LSU mention how they're programs market their players, factoring into their decision because it's a whole different
Absolutely.
ball game now.
Mhm.
You know, especially with NIL. And if you're not marketing your players, and then you as a governing body should be like the NBA marketing a collective group of stars. You know, that's one thing the NFL does. That's one thing that the NBA does. You have your major superstars, you know, your first five, if you will. But every team has a group of stars that you know that they use their marketing capital to promote, and that's something that has to go on in women's sports.
All these ladies was hurt at the school they was at the year that they came out. Like it or not, they was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was coming to see her. All 13 of the ones on my team, they was hurt at the school they was at before they was here. That's why they here, because they was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's marketable, even if it's just in the areas that they coming from.
Right, regional.
But they don't do regional marketing. It's like the disconnect. I don't know. I'm if y'all see an application for anything, for to help in this area, let me know.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a position missing. The connection, the tie back. It's almost like they don't know what to do. Or like I see somebody is saying, I think that was Jermaine is saying, they know the money will hurt the blue bloods too. It'll make more parity. It's more parity is coming in women's hoops anyway. So what they need to figure out is, are we going to do what we need to do to be able to have the NIL run through and keep these college programs going? Or are we going to let NIL and the growth of women's sports mess up the WNBA like it did the NBA and have these people looking to be able to have these ladies come into the league early and not and skip college altogether? It's lightning in a bottle right now. If you guys match this thing up, you can make long money all the way through. Everybody can eat. But see, they keep trying to keep people from eating. And that's why people is going around and going to Unrivaled and going overseas and taking a year off school and going to go work on their craft somewhere else because y'all not being fair with the money. See, the greed got to stop. And that got to stop.
Yeah.
There's no way that you could tell me my Laser Puwali's not marketable. Do you see her in front of the microphone? Just delightful. Tell me what you heard about this young person that makes you think she's not marketable.
Every move, I mean, you could take a clip of her move and come up with a dynamic commercial. Just on moves she made in her freshman year.
Meanwhile, Paige Beckers has a whole at the San Francisco Museum of Art has a whole display put together and a whole artwork made up of her basketball moves because it's like poetry. You know, y'all don't think Lay got no moves like that? Hannah ain't got no moves like that. Talk to me. You know, let's have a real conversation. Again, like I'm telling y'all, the NCAA. Tell me the picture or the commercial where all the champions is together. NFL
like that NFL commercial.
The NFL did it. The NFL did it so smooth. People that y'all thought the NFL didn't even like was in the commercial. Marshawn Lynch. Y'all was like, they don't even like him. They couldn't wait to get Marshawn in the commercial. Why? Because he's marketable. Even when he was saying, I'm just here so I don't get fined. When he was being himself, that made him the most marketable thing in the NFL. Everybody wanted a piece. Let these ladies be themselves. Shine a light on them. Y'all don't think Raven, every time the microphone is in front of Raven say something that I can't forget that she said. You don't think that's marketable? Stop it. Are you going to tell me Joyce Edwards, carrying a 5.4 GPA, coming into college as Gatorade Player of the Year, having to have a major created for her so that she can
at
a major university, a double-double in her first time stepping on the court, in the first 20 minutes on the court? That's not marketable? Stop playing with me. You gonna tell me they not beautiful? Every one of them is. They are my nieces. They are beautiful in their own way. You gonna tell me there ain't enough diversity there? Look at Tahina. Look at Chloe. Look at Camilla. It may not be the diversity that you're looking for, but it's a diverse team there. They from all different places, all different walks of life. Diversity don't just have to be in the color of your skin. It could be from where you came from, how you came up, what you believe. I forget who it was. Somebody said when they got hurt, Letitia gave them religion, and that's what helped them work through that, and took her to church and helped her pray and all of that. These ladies are pouring into each other. There's so many things that y'all can learn from these young people. But we so busy talking about what they don't do that we not watching what they do, and we not leaning into what they do. And that's that's where the marketing comes from, when you lean into what it is that they do. Dawn got something special going on down there. She turned away more students than y'all think. It's more kids want to come to South Carolina than y'all think. They marketable.
We have to support them. Anytime they put out something and do something, we have to support that. We got to continue to watch the games, continue to purchase merchandise if we can afford to, in order to help these young ladies, or help these corporations who are just so stuck in the past, to understand that mainstream America is changing. Mainstream America is becoming more of everybody. That's what makes up mainstream America. It's not just one group anymore. But if you're busy trying to hold on to that belief, then you're gonna miss opportunity. I mean, they have conducted numerous studies that show that you lose money with a one-dimensional perception of what America is supposed to be.
And that's where you were talking about the threat of the visibility of the racial diversity, women's basketball, because it debunks the myth of white superiority and black inferiority. Like if you really start to show, what it is that we out here doing, and it's happening in all walks of life, in black, brown, white, red, blue, purple, green. It's somebody hooping in all of these different races and creeds. Then it's like, okay, well, what have we been believing? It's the challenge of that that's causing the pushback. But we gotta be better. We gotta push back and say, man, we're not buying that narrative no more. They are marketable, and this is who I want to see. I want to see them, and I'm going where they at. Because this where I want to put my money at. This where I want to see. This where I want to celebrate.
Right. No more celebrating only certain people and tolerating others. And I think putting your money where your mouth is one of the greatest tools. Getting on these social media, social media account, not your personal account, but when you're making comments, pointing these things out. This is why it is important for us to put together an education program, so people can point these things out, so they have the terminology to let people know, no, this is being manipulated. It's not authentic.
And make your comment count.
Why it's happening.
Make your comment count, and make sure you at the right person. Don't just at me, at them, at the industry. Don't just at me, at them, at the gatekeepers. Even a nice docu-series on the ones that chose to stay home. I would love to learn more about that. And I don't know if it's just in South Carolina, but I am seeing it in South Carolina, where it's a trend now, where players are staying home and playing with each other. The NIL money is coming in, and we can stay here. And I've been wanting to play with you, and you was the baddest thing at that high school, and I was the baddest thing at this high school. Let's go get something for the college here,
for the state. And look
for
how
state.
even your political representatives are weighing in. We got state houses contacting parents. We need to try to keep that child here in the state, especially in places like Missouri. They big time using they politics to try to keep their students, right there in their state, because you see the economic benefit of keeping the child in the state. There's
exactly
to that as well.
And exactly, Business Crew. Joyce started out, and I heard that story. Joyce started out sweeping the floors at CLA as a kid, wanting to play for the team, and then to get drafted, and then have the opportunity to talk. To get recruited, and then have the opportunity to talk to Asian, meet Asian, and have all of these connections, and then now to be here with that across her chest. I mean, it means the world to these kids. It means the world to them. They get to now go do something at the crib with everybody behind them. This could be so fun. This could be, if they use this NIL right, and they open up the way that they market, and agree to market more than one type, or more than one at a time. Oh, it could be a lot of parity and a lot of fun in women's basketball from college on up. But we gotta be willing to have these type of conversations. And this is just the first part of this conversation. This we only tapped the surface.
Mm-hmm. And the coaches like Don Stanley, the inspiration that she is, instilling, in these young black ladies, young ladies that are coming through the game. She's showing them that you can excel on the court, off the court. Uh, in corporate windows. Also, with her doing. I saw her first commercial by herself. I think that
Mm-hmm.
was during the championship game. She's a brand herself, and you have to make these young ladies believe that they can achieve greatness without conforming who they are. We want authenticity. We want these young ladies to be able to be themselves, to be comfortable, even though they're in white spaces, that they can be who they are. Because you can't
Mm-hmm.
change what God made you. You know, you come here in the skin you in, and no amount of
Mm-hmm.
bleaching and a face
Uh,
masking,
plus, and
trying
then
to
y'all
act
just doing
a
that
certain way
bleaching.
won't change that.
Y'all just doing that bleaching. Don't get
Don't
the
get
powdery version. Y'all coming
you
out
know,
powdery after that. Get don't. Uh, I don't like that. I don't know if it's another choice. I mean, if that's the way you're gonna go, but don't come out with that powdery sick look. I don't like. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. If
we
that's
got
what
we
you got
got
to
to
do.
support these coaches. This is very, we have a black coach, Ascend, or on the Ascension. We got to support them. I'm a big fan of Coach Yo. I just love her personality and what she brings to the table. And I love the young lady from Syracuse. I think
Hmm.
she's doing a fabulous job over there. She's going to be a contender in a few years. She get a few more of the
The young
right
lady that
pieces.
left Jackson State, that's
Right.
at Charlotte now. Tamika
Yeah.
Reed. We got to celebrate and they played yesterday and they were scrappy and they'll be better in their division. But I love that we're giving them opportunities. But we got to start calling them out and celebrating and even if you can't afford to go buy a T-shirt, 'cause it ain't in everybody's budget all the time, or even to get their shoes. But if you and y'all get tired of hearing us say it, but like, subscribe, share, ring the notification bell on their channels and their platforms too, because that's
Mhm.
another way that you check in and let people know, hey, this is something worth watching right here. This is something people are checking for.
Mhm. There's a
If
lot of
Sarah
ways
Strong
to
stayed home and
support.
went to North Carolina, yeah, yeah, it's that support. It's retweeting. That
Mhm.
that brings eyes and capital. But we got to start calling them out, because there's no way that you could think that this is a team of unmarketable ladies, and
Mhm.
they're
I'm
all
just, I'm just. I
for
mean,
sure.
you a reigning champion until somebody knocks you off next March.
Right? Yes, you
We
are.
should we should be hearing about that. Nobody should be guessing about who won. And each of these ladies have such a unique story behind it. And those stories should be
Exactly.
told. They should be celebrated. You know, and it should result in them being able to capitalize on their talent because that's the name of the game.
Especially right now. They are a brand in themselves. And that's what Don said. Like, they're a brand in themselves. They have I's to dot and T's to cross and numbers to hit, because people is expecting them to do certain things as they're signing these contracts and things. Let's give them those opportunities. Give them that support. You said it's in the name, Hollywood Raven. Yeah, Crockpot's something else. Crockpot is something else. I think we touched on the first four problems in this series of 7. Uh, and we'll be continuing the conversation next week. But before we get out of here, political look, did you have anything else you wanted to cover this week before we get ready to get out of here? I know we at just over a little bit of an hour now.
No, I didn't have anything else. I think we covered a lot of material. And I think next week we really need to get into the nitty gritty of what the media does, what happens institutionally, and then hopefully the audience can start bringing in some recommended solution. Maybe we could set up a database where we could exchange articles and whatever material we can find. But we definitely have to come up with a way to make our voices heard in terms of speaking to these institutions like the NCAA, ESPN, and others, and questioning, because I'm going to get on Stephen A. podcast and I'm going to ask him where's the interview for the champions that you had for the runner up last year. When you going to do it exclusive on them? As reigning undefeated champions. This needs to be made big, because being an undefeated champion is not an easy thing to do.
Not an easy thing at all.
And we need to stop persecuting Black excellence. And that's all I have to say for today.
All right. In the celebration of Black excellence, this conversation will continue next week. Political Lil, I appreciate it. If you did not hit the like button on the way in, and I know some of y'all didn't, because I'm seeing 79 of y'all in here and only 32 likes, please hit that like button. Run it up on the way out. If it's your first time here, come on, y'all, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, stay in this conversation. We appreciate all of y'all coming and hanging out with us today. Until next time, and I'm back in just a little bit with Cess Talks Bets. Y'all stay tuned. Talk soon. Be out.